Welcome to the John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. What's going on, everyone? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Juan Solo Show with your host, me, Juan D. Clouser, and I'm hoping this audio is working correctly. So, I think my inbox finally did shit the bed. Last week, it was really hard for it to start, so I don't know if you're not familiar with audio stuff. A inbox is, or how about this? If you see this thing right here, it's a microphone, right? This microphone actually has no source of power. What's the term they use? It requires like actual hard power. There's like hard power and there's like phantom power. I believe that's what it is. And phantom power is something that has the ability to produce its own power, or it has like batteries. It has batteries. It has its own source. Unlike this microphone, it is a hard wire, so that means it requires a source of power to be able to run. So that's why you have to have this thing called an inbox or an audio box, whichever one you want to call it. People just call it inboxes because it's just shorter, but it's actually an M audio box. And what that is that basically controls all of your levels. It controls how many microphones you have in. And there's different ones. They usually come in pairs, so it's in the sense of like it's a 2 input, or it's a 4 input, 6 input, or 8. Usually it goes up to 8 input. I had one of the jumbo ones. I call them a 747 because it's like that thick. It's like that thick and about like that long, and it was great. I bought it used. They usually cost about like $800. I got it used for about $200, so $230 with tax. And I got it like 10 years ago, and it has worked great for me. Right now, I am using a little Zoom recorder, which is crazy. What's more interesting is the fact, like, when you go to film school, you learn how to do audio stuff as well. But just over time of using all this stuff, and probably my first big job before, like, because I was working on film shoots from 18, almost 19 years old to about 21. And about 21 is when I really started working on, like, really working in like companies and things like that. And so my first like real job, like I think I've told you guys a million times, this was a podcasting job. And when I didn't even know what podcasting was. This is back when like podcasting had just started. Was it back in 2010, 11? Yeah. And it was, we would just do it in a hold on. My dog, what's up? Hold on, guys. Here, you guys want to see someone? Say hi to Lola again, guys. So she's back. I was hearing a scratching on the door, and I was wondering what that was. And it was her, wasn't it? Wasn't it you, Lola? Why are you so? She's so affectionate today. All she wants is attention, and all she wants to do is be sitting on my lap. What's up? I think she's a little upset that. Hold on. I think she's a little upset that it's raining outside, and she can't go outside and play. And she keeps looking at me, like I this morning, I tried to let her out to go to the restroom. She wouldn't go because she doesn't like to go out in the rain. And then, like, I just opened the garage door, or I lit like the door that goes into the garage, and we have these two, what do you call it? Like those green pads, and she just peed on one of them. And which is like really had to go because she doesn't do that unless she absolutely has to. And it's so funny because she's never been like that. This is the first time she's ever like scratched on the door. to be let in. I don't even know how much time I've done on this podcast. So 6, I'm going to assume 5 minutes. Okay. 5.5 minutes. So I let the audio go for about a minute and a half. I'm going to say about a minute and a half. So I don't know. This whole podcast is, crazy. So yeah, like the inbox, it broke. But what I was talking about was that when I was working that job, like I had to do so many different things. So I had to set up studio lights. I had to set up audio stuff. I had to learn how to upload audio stuff, all this random things. So it's so fun. I had this handy recorder, and it's a little it has 2 female ports, so I could have 2 separate audio, like 2 separate microphones going into it and have its own channel. And I have, if you saw it, like I have like 6 different little wires coming out of it because I'm able to connect it, and like I can play videos, and like the audio from the video will record onto the Zoom recorder. I have like my earphones connected into it. I have a power source. Instead of using batteries, I use a power source, a plug-in power source. And so it's just like, one of those things. But it's hilarious. Because in film school, you just kind of like, I look at this thing, it's like a Rubik's Cube. So I can look at it like a Rubik's Cube, flip it around a little bit, and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly how I can use this and power everything off of this power source. The only thing is I hope that this was working, because there was some error, and you think I would have stopped and checked the audio, but no, it's recording. So, and there's power and it's recording. So we'll see. I don't know. Worst case scenario, what do I have to do? I just redo a podcast. Takes 30 minutes. It's probably a big waste of time. Kind of like most of today has been a big waste of my time. Wow, John, what a great segue. Yeah, I know. So it's Monday. I usually wake up at 6:30 because I have to get to the golf course by 7:30. That's the whole thing. And guess what happened today? Guess what happened this morning? I woke up. It was cloudy. It's a little overcast. I was like, no big deal. It's got ready still. I checked the weather. I was thinking like, okay, maybe I have to maybe just wear golfing pants instead of golfing shorts. And I was like, no, it's like 78 degrees already. And then I saw there's supposed to be like, rain. But I'm like, ever since I found out, did you guys know that like when you see a forecast, it says like there's a 40% chance of rain? Wouldn't you just assume that like in that whole area, because they're giving you weather of the whole area, they're not giving you just the weather of a small part of it. They're giving you of the whole Kansas City, not just part of Kansas City. That's what you think, right? So when it says like high of 75, low of 60, like you think that that's when it in the morning or in the evening time, it's about 60 degrees, and the highest is going to be 75. Like that's what you just think. And then when you see it's like, oh, chance of rain, a 40% chance of rain, you just assume the whole area. It's a whole blanket statement of that. Oh, there's a 40% chance that this whole area. No, it's just of a specific part of that area. That's what they mean about the 40%. And you're just like, once I learned this, I don't know what to believe anymore when it comes to the weather and if it's going to rain or not. Because I'm like, well, maybe that's the other part of Kansas City. Hold on. She's such a turd. Like, she's scratched at the door to come in, and I thought like maybe if I just let her in and let the door ajar, that she'd just lay down on her bed over here and just lay down and go to sleep. No, she just sniffed around, and now she left, and god damn it, Lola's crazy. But yeah, so like you think that 40% of rain means like 40% through the whole board, but nope, it doesn't. It just means a little small part of it, and it's just the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. That it's like you guys don't know any more than we know, do you? You guys are just putting your finger in your mouth, putting up to the air and just wishing and hoping that, like, oh, the wind's coming from the left. It's like, little did you know, don't know if it's north or south. Like, and I have no idea the people. I would love to be able to see a scan of someone's brain who knows, like, where north is. They can just, like, go outside and be like, oh yeah, it's over there. Insane. Just insane. But yeah, so we're here. So I woke up at 6:30 this morning so I could go and do some golf at 7:30. And little did we know, it started raining. And it started sprinkling when I was about 4 minutes out of my house. And I was like, okay, no big deal. And I even thought, I'm like, I thought about, you should pull over, flip it around, go back home, and do a podcast, get your words done. All your laundry's done. All you gotta do is just fold it. It's just sitting there. Perfect. Like, I don't know what you guys do. So as soon as it gets out of the dryer, I just fold. I do a flap, and then so it gets, so then it can it can just lay without getting wrinkles. And then, because if you hang your stuff and if you fold your stuff before it gets cold, if it's still warm when you do it, then it doesn't wrinkle. It doesn't wrinkle as much. But then, okay, so, so then I woke up this morning to do that. It started sprinkling. I'm like, you know what? No, just go ahead and go to the golf range, go to the golf course. Once you get there, it's probably not going to be raining anymore. I got there, it was raining even more. I waited about 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, no, dude, you can just go home and start do work at home, and then by the time that you get all your stuff done, it's going to be, the rain's going to stop, the sun's probably going to be out, it's going to be a little bit drier, so you don't have, it's not going to be when you go putting, it's not going to hit the greens and just kind of stop because the water is all wet. So, hey, maybe this is probably for the best. Just give it some time. So I'm like, God dang it. But yeah, it's just a big waste of time. Because you feel dumb. At least I do. Because it's I started this podcast, let's say 13 minutes ago. And it's 10:05 a.m. It's just you just wasted such a large amount of time in the morning where you could have been doing so much other things. But, anyway, we're here. We're doing it, getting it done. So I hope you guys are doing well. So I just read this thing. Israel just passed a law to limit Supreme Court's power, which is insane. The Israel courts, that's incredible. Monday's vote was, Israel's hard right government passed a law that will limit the power of the Supreme Court, the first part of its wider plan to weaken the power of the country's court. Interesting. Had no idea this was going on. Monday's vote was a reasonable bill which will strip the Supreme Court of the power to block some governmental decisions, as the Supreme Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's consultants vote to approve the law. The opponents walked out of the parliament in protest. The first legal challenge have already been filed. Interesting. See, this is so interesting because, we live in America, and we just, a lot of these things we just assume. Well, we just assume that we have a lot more freedom than we do. I think this is a foreigner person talking who has been born in another country, who have seen a lot of other countries. I don't think we have enough. I don't think we have a lot of more rights than we think. I think we're losing a lot of them, and we just hand them over. And this is just my opinion. This is what I think we do. I think we just hand them over. We don't really work hard. We just assume if we have nothing to hide, because we go by that whole mindset. It's the same thing with why should I care if the government's going to check my phone? If we're not doing anything, why do you care? It's that's not the point. It's a perverse mindset to automatically want to search into snoop when there's absolutely no reason to snoop, because the whole point of this whole experiment called America was to have the ability to not be fucked with. The whole point is not to be fucked with, because that's the reason why our forefathers, aka could have been treasonous fuckers, left Great Britain. They left Britain. Yeah. Because, like, think about it. How history always plays is, like, history plays out the people who win. Like, we won. We weren't treason. Like, there's a lot of coups, because basically what it was a coup. Like, let's be real. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, our forefathers, our whole structure of our whole mindset as Americans has been based around something that was a coup. And, like, the people who we look up to, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, John Adams, John Hancock, all these people were people that if they would have gotten caught, if they would have lost, they would have gotten killed. And that it's the only thing. The only reason why they didn't is because we technically, I guess, won. They won. So weird, but so the whole process was to be free. They didn't want to have taxes. They don't want to fucking pay these dumb taxes, the T tax and shit. I'm doing a very blanketed statement over all this stuff. Like, you should know. A foreigner shouldn't be informing you on this stuff. That was also my way of saying, like, hey, I don't know as much as I think I do. Just being honest. And but yeah, I think people have this mindset that, well, if we have nothing to hide, then why does it matter? It's like, it's just a perverse way of thinking, because the government's being proactive instead of being reactive, but towards a freedom. This is amendment. This is instead of being, like, I can understand, like, being proactive towards, like, diseases or financial things, but you want to why do you want to, like, go through my things? Like, if I'm not doing anything, but, like, things like I'm innocent until proven guilty, right? That's the whole mindset. But what you're doing is you just assume that I'm guilty, and you're just automatically you're acting, and you're doing your actions as though I'm already a criminal, versus I haven't done anything, right? I haven't done anything because I haven't been proven to be guilty. But yeah, we just live in this weird thing, and so, like, to see these other countries, and the thing is, like, people want to think that, like, this is such a crazy thing. Well, the crazy thing is, like, Israel is younger than America. Israel this year is celebrating, I believe, its 75th birthday. Isn't that insane? Think about it. Some of your grandparents are older than some of your grandparents are older than how long Israel has actually been a real country. So, like, this is just growing pains. We're watching what it probably was like 150 years ago, 125 years ago with America. America was probably going through the same thing. Hell, that's the thing, is, like, how long America has been a country has been a week, right? This is what's so funny about, like, people talk about slavery, or people talk about, like, you need to, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or like why do, like, slavery's been such a long time ago, like, why do black people still use that as an excuse? It's like, well, it's not an excuse. Like, anytime a group of people has been enslaved, and their family's been torn apart, I think they can use that as an excuse as long as they want. So, sorry, but, as a brown person, if America, if a whole week was how long it's been, like, today would be like Thursday. Slavery happened on, like, Wednesday morning. It's not that long ago. So you can't act like these things don't exist, because they do. And to see what we're seeing is like, yeah, that's awesome. That means that because it's like in America, like, that's why do we think we have 3 branches of government? It's to control each other. Why do you think the the president can't have full control. It's so. Why do you think the president only lasts like 4 years, which is insane? Like the way we have other people. Well, that whole being a president is insane too. To think that like you can do something within 4 years, like you don't start really getting a real strong momentum until year 4. Like hell, like it's so funny. Like we expect. This is what's so funny. We expect that our president to get all this shit done in 4 years, and then, for example, we have like quarterbacks, like a football game that should be so much easier than running a country. We're like, hell, that quarterback, he's in his year second. Like by year 3, if he hasn't figured out that he's, that he can do X, Y, and Z, then he can't be a good quarterback. How in the fuck are we giving a quarterback 3 years? But yet we expect the president to get, have, China under control, like the Middle East fighting under control, and, to have, and to get rid of like all terrorists in 4 years. Like we expect all that. Like it's just an insane thing to do. And I have no idea if that was a good, analogy. Probably wasn't. You're like, how in the hell did he somehow get the football into the politics? I'm just excited because I think next week is the last Sunday where we don't have football. Because after that, then high school football starts. High school football starts, and then college football, and then a week after that is the NFL. I believe so. Let's see here. Because let's not talk about the Israel stuff anymore. That stuff's real. That stuff's sad. Let's talk about when does football start? When does NFL season start? It starts September 7th. So we have also all next month will be all preseason games, which is not. It's not football per se. You're kind of, because in retrospect, like after they figured out who are going to be like the top 25, top 30 out of the 53 men lineup, probably within like 3 weeks of being there. Like they can figure out pretty quick. You either have it or you don't. It is just one of those things. But yeah, it's just, oh God, I'm so excited. If you haven't watched Quarterbacks, it was on Netflix. You follow Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and what was it? Marinara. I always call him Marinara, and I can never remember his name now. Mariota. And it's so funny because like you can just see the gist of it. So Mariota, he went to Oregon. He went to University of Oregon. Won the Heisman, was the number 1 draft pick, and then just hasn't had that great of a career. Well, granted, he's had some injuries. And then you have someone like Patrick Mahomes, who went to a Big 12 school, Texas Tech, like not a big powerhouse football organization. Had a bunch of yards. One of his big things was the fact that like he was very happy. He was very happy-footed. He was trigger happy. He's going to make a lot of decisions that are going to bite him, but what he does is he's just athletic enough, and he'll just stay over, he just will, hopefully that will overwork what his mistakes are. And so you just see these things, but then you see Patrick Mahomes has already won 2 MVPs, he's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs, won 2 Super Bowls, like he threw like 53 touchdowns in a season. Like you just, insane things. And then you see Mariota, he can't do anything. He lost his job. He just lost his job to a rookie last season. Now he's the backup for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. So it's just such a crazy thing. And then you see Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is like probably the nicest guy in the world, most likable dude in the world. It's just like, damn, dude, I kind of feel like I have to buy your jersey now because I need to support you because you're such a great guy. You're so wholesome. and it's like so genuine, and you can tell that there's 0 ounce of it's. He's a really nice Midwestern guy. I don't even know where he's from. Where is Kirk Cousins? I want to say he's from Michigan, but I'm not for sure. Where? Because he went to Michigan State, but I think he's from Michigan. What's that? Kurt. Where's Kirk Cousins from originally? He's from Illinois. Burlington, Illinois. Born in 1988. He's a year older than me. Kirk Cousins attended Christian high school. In Michigan. In Illinois. He attended Holy Land Christian High School in Holland, Michigan, where he started football and baseball as third baseman and a pitcher, and basketball for the Maroons athletic teams. Interesting. I did not know he was from Illinois, but yeah, he's just a wholesome guy. Has his wife dresses him. This is one of those things. He's just a really nice guy, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, I hope this podcast works. That's all I'm thinking about. I guess like talking about some wholesome people, some people that are not some wholesome. I can't talk for shit. Who aren't so humble. There we go. You just gotta get some agua up in your body, John. Do you guys see that Jason Aldean bullshit? So, if you're not familiar with Jason Aldean, he is a cunt. It's hilarious. Yeah, so he wrote this song. He just came out with a song called Try That in a Small Town. And it is by far, you think I'd had all this stuff like ready for the podcast. I don't. He wrote this song, or he recorded. I should record the song. I don't know if he wrote it, because I don't think he's that stadium country where it's just he portrays the persona of being someone who has lived in the farmland, who's lived in the Midwest. And so, another thing too, I do not understand anybody who considers not Iowa, but Ohio the Midwest. Like, I just don't. I would think that the Midwest is Kansas, Missouri, like Oklahoma, like Arkansas, like Nebraska, like those states, like, and then, I mean, I guess you consider North and South Dakota, but like they're so north, like North and South Dakota, that like, I don't know, I wouldn't consider that, like, so to me, that's what I consider the Midwest. But, who am I? But yeah, he wrote this awful song that is just horrifically tone deaf, and it's just like, it's just all this footage from like, BML protests, and he's saying like, try doing all this shit in a small town, like try being gay in a small town, you're gonna get beat up. Try to be black in a small town. And it's like, well, yeah, there was a black guy who tried to jog in a white town. He got fucking shot in the back. So, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just tone deaf, and all it is just whistleblowing. And it just shows that, like, because there are probably people who like country music, but they're not going, those aren't the people for this. He's writing those people who, the red, I shouldn't even call them rednecks, because like there's some rednecks that aren't racist. He's just writing it towards the people who are like, yeah, fuck those brown people, fuck black people, fuck them. Yeah, I don't want them around here at all. I just don't want them here. So that's the person. But yeah, I don't know. It's insane. I'm like, have I done enough time? I don't know yet. I think I'm at 29 minutes and 36 seconds on my camera. So my camera goes off at 29:59. So I should probably end this podcast now. I've done over 30 minutes of audio. So if you've gotten this far, thank you so much. If you've listened to this, oh my God, I don't know what this was. It was a podcast on a Zoom recorder. This is probably how it'll be for a couple weeks until I can have to order, and then all right, and it stopped.